Hello everybody and welcome back to Expert Examiner IELTS. My name is Glyn and in this video we have some more writing task 2 feedback. Let's jump straight into it. So we have seen this question before. This is the second time this question has appeared on this channel. Let's take a look at it. The most important aim of science should be to improve people's lives. Let's just highlight some key words here. The aim. That's key. The aim. What is an aim? Well, the purpose, the reason why something does something. Science, so we expect to see some vocab connected to the world of science. And also this should be. Now there is, if you are fans of David Hume, you should know about the difference between is and ought. What is and what should be. So the aim of science, what should it be? So we're not describing what science does or what science doesn't do, but we're talking about the aim and what that aim of science should be. What would be the best use of science? Now this prompt says the most important aim of science should be to improve people's lives. So most important is important here too, not the only aim of science, just the most important aim of science. So the most important aim of science should be, not is, but should be to improve people's lives. To what extent do you agree or disagree with this statement? So again, if you agree, better not to sit on the fence, just say agree or disagree. That makes it simple. So what type of structure are we looking for here? Well, in the introduction, we want some general statement about science and aims of science. We want some reference to the question, some reference to helping people or improving people's lives, and also I want to know what position the candidate has. Does the candidate agree with the statement that it should be to improve people's lives, or is the candidate's position that no, there is a different aim, that it shouldn't be to improve people's lives? Let's see if we get that in the opening. Let's see. Opening looks a little bit short, just a little bit short. These days, more and more new modern technologies are being discovered by scientists. Scientists don't discover technology. So you discover things that naturally exist in the world. You can discover different planets, you can discover different elements or chemicals or whatever, you can discover new species. They are things that already exist. Scientists don't discover technologies. They might create or invent or develop new technologies, but they don't discover them. So that's the wrong word. But good use of continuous, talking about nowadays, present continuous passive. So a good bit of grammar, just the wrong word. Full stop. Improving people's lives should be a significant role of science. Not role, but we're talking about the aim. The aim of science and the role of science is different. I strongly agree with this statement. You've said here, improving people's lives should be a significant role of science, and now you're saying that you agree with yourself. So that sounds strange. And also notice how this is poorly linked, right? We have these days, fine. You have a clause here, full stop. Improving people's lives should be a significant role of science, full stop. I strongly agree with this statement and will examine this idea, full stop. So you have 3 sentences and none of them are really linked with any text connectors or cohesive devices. Okay, so the introduction is a little short. A few problems with language. Ideas are not very well connected, but at least we do get some background information about the subject and we get to see the candidate's position. So that's fine. Okay, so now we get 3 more paragraphs. Cool. So body 1 paragraph should be reason number 1, why science should improve. Why the most important aim of science should be to improve people's lives. Paragraph 2, body paragraph 2, we want another reason why, and then a conclusion. So let's see if we get a nice, clear, simple explanation for why this candidate believes that the most important aim of science should be to improve people's lives. Okay, let's see. There is a strong reason why the primary aim of science should be to improve human lives. Is that... So we can't say there is is that. We can say a strong reason why is that, but not there is is that. So yeah, I'm going to put that in red here. You could say one strong reason why is that that's fine. Is that the higher the practical uses of science, the better the quality of life. So nice grammar, the comparative structure, B2 grammar, but I don't know what you mean. And I hope you explain it here, because I don't know what that means. The higher the practical uses of science, the better the quality of life. Don't know what that means. It's unclear. I could interpret it. I could maybe guess what you mean, but it's not my job as the examiner here to guess what you mean. You have to explain it. But let's see if you explain. For example, if citizens benefit from science, scientists would get more money and inspiration to develop the next upcoming discovery. Again, you can't develop a discovery. Well, maybe you... No, I don't think you can develop a discovery. But and again, I don't know what you mean. Like, if here you're saying that the aim should be to improve humans' lives, and now you're saying that the aim of scientists really should be to get more money? Is that what you're saying here? It seems like that's where your focus is. If citizens benefit from science, scientists would get more money. And maybe then the candidate is saying that they would get, with that money, they would get the inspiration to develop the next discovery. Now, for me, it's not clear that money gives inspiration to develop discoveries. So that's not clear. Therefore, not only will people, so we have beautiful, beautiful use of inversion here, C1 grammar. Not only will people gain benefits from science, but also scientists can receive funding for further development. That makes sense. If the primary goal of discovering new technology is not to improve lives, science may not get a wide range of practical experiments. I don't know what that means, how science may not get a wide range of practical experiments. I don't know what that means. And adequate funding. Okay. So there's one sentence in there which is kind of clear and kind of logical and kind of makes sense, but everything else I have to guess what the candidate means. So I don't really see a lot of communicative success there. Okay. Despite this, no. So this is to what extent do you agree or disagree. So you've said that you agree, and so you want firstly, here in the body paragraph 1, firstly, and here, secondly, We don't need a despite this. It is not a discuss both sides. Okay, but let's see. Despite this direct benefit, okay, maybe I can see. Despite this direct benefit, there is also an indirect benefit of science is... No. Again, we have this there is and is. There is also an indirect benefit of science is. So you could say another indirect benefit of science is nuclear power. But not there is is but again, we are not talking about the benefits of science. We are talking about what the most important aim of science should be. And you're saying that there is an indirect benefit of science, which is nuclear power, providing low-cost electricity. Okay. Although some people believe nuclear power is harmful, I believe that unlike... Okay, you're giving personal language here. We don't want that. I believe that unlike other fossil fuels... Okay, no. So here you're shifting your focus. Here you're telling me why you believe that nuclear power is a good thing. That is not connected to the question. The question asks us to explain why the or if you agree with the statement, the essay asks you to explain why the most important aim of science should be to improve people's lives. And you're just explaining why you think nuclear power is good. So, nuclear power is not only a scientific discovery providing us with a wide range of power. A wide range of power? Can you have a wide range of power? I don't know if you can have a wide range of power. Have a lot of power, but don't know about wide range of power. But also it contributes to healthcare systems, such as treating cancer. Okay, so finally we get around to it, that nuclear power can be used for treating cancer and protecting human health. So the candidate here is showing us that nuclear power can result in helping or improving people's lives. But that's not what the question is. The question doesn't ask us to explain how scientific discoveries can improve people's lives. The question asks us to evaluate what the most important aim of science should be. And so none of that is done in this body paragraph. Okay, in conclusion, with a view to developing human lives, developing or improving, I guess maybe you could say those things are similar. With a view to developing human lives, the goal of science should be kept in focus. So, the call to action here is we should keep the goal of science in focus. But I don't know what that means, and I don't know how it's connected to the question. Although there are a few negative thoughts, the positive impacts on people's lives are significant. This is empty, isn't it? I don't know what that means. Although there are a few negative thoughts, the positive impact on people's lives are significant. There's no reference to the question here. There's nothing, the candidate doesn't explain to us like, oh, let me tell you one more time in short why the most important aim of science should be to improve people's lives. The candidate hasn't done that here, unfortunately. Okay, let's do some Let's do some marks. Okay, so I've gone through this pretty quickly just because the most noticeable errors are have to be dealt with. We can't really focus on language or anything else just because there are really critical errors. But let's have a look. So task response, it has to be a 4. So you don't really keep, I'll make that point later. So task response is 4. You don't really keep the question in mind, right? The question is, the most important aim of science should be to improve people's lives. Do you agree or not? And if you agree, now you need to explain why the most important aim of science should be to improve people's lives. Not to explain that scientists can get money, or to explain why you like nuclear power. So you don't really answer the question. You're touching on the question, but you don't answer it directly. So I can't say that I'm informed. I can't walk away and explain to another person why you think the most important aim of science should be to improve people's lives. I can walk away and say, oh, this candidate thinks that nuclear energy is good. I can do that. I can say that this candidate thinks that if scientists develop a lot of new technologies, then they will get rich. I can explain that, but I can't explain why you think the most important aim of science should be to improve people's lives. So task response 4. Coherence and cohesion. Oh. So let's just take a look back through this. So we do have some cohesive functions. Okay, paragraph 1 is not very well linked, but we do get this statement, which is a type of reference. Primary aim, for example, that's cohesive. So let's just put some nice blue marks so I can see all of the nice cohesive features here. For example, good. You get a nice conditional if, then, fine. We get a therefore, which is used correctly with correct punctuation. Cool. Another if, then. Despite this. I don't know if it's really... I don't know if it's really a contrast here, so I'm not really fond of this despite this. We do get good use of although. Even though the candidate's gone off topic, they're still using this like although correctly, fronting the contrast. Cool. Is not only but, so we get a nice link there. Not only da 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 da, and then later we get the but da 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 da. So that's good. And we get a nice little bit of signposting language in conclusion. So the cohesive language is good, but the coherence of the ideas is difficult. So just reading through it, it's not easy to follow all of the ideas. So cohesive language, good, but coherence of ideas, not so good. So for me, it's a 5. Lexical resource. So we have some mistakes here. So I'm thinking 6. So modern technology is good, language discovered, but it's not the right word. You develop or create or invent new technologies. Practical uses is good. Again, it's not really used in the correct context, but the collocation is good. The quality of life is good. Therefore, fine. Receive funding, that's nice. Further development, the primary goal. So there is a lot of good language in there. Direct benefit, indirect benefit, healthcare systems, contributes to healthcare systems. I think there's enough, strangely enough, I think there's enough lexical resource in there for a 7. A couple of mistakes, but I think there is enough lexical resource in there for a 7, thinking on the theme of like healthcare and science and practical experiments, receive funding. Yeah, so despite the lack of coherence, but the vocab is strong. Grammatical range and accuracy. So there are some positive features there. Really like this inversion with not only will people gain. That's certainly C1 grammar. Nobody learns that at B2 even. Normal conditional sentences, cool. That's a nice sentence. We do get that the although sentence, so that's a complex sentence here. So we have a variety of structures and we have a variety of sentence types. Some of the grammatical or some of the language mistakes cause confusion, don't they? Let's see. Yeah, this repeated mistake of there is da 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 is da 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 da. That's a problem. Yeah, so there is a nice range, but because of that repeated mistake with there is, and it seems like that's quite an easy thing. Another one here, there is also an indirect benefit of science is nuclear power. That's very basic word order rules in English, so that pulls it down to a 6 for me. Okay, this is the first time ever I think I've come across a 4, 5, 6, and 7. Amazing, we get a 4, 5, 6, and 7. So that works out as 5.5, am I right? Let me just make sure I'm right there. Okay, so overall 5.5, so that's the lower end of B2. So what's saving you here? Your lexical resource and your grammar is saving you. But, say it all the time, academic skills. In IELTS academic, it is not enough just to know English. My dad isn't a very academic person. My dad would not get 9.0 for academic writing, even though English is his only language. Probably, I would be surprised if my dad got higher than a 6 in IELTS academic writing. Why? Because he doesn't need to know, I guess, how to write essays in English. And so my advice to the candidate here is you have to train not your English, you have to train your academic writing skills. You have to learn how to write an academic essay, what it means to present an argument, what it means to support an argument, what it means to answer a question directly, what it means to fully inform the target reader, because the candidate obviously doesn't know this. The language is good, the candidate knows English well, but the candidate doesn't know features of academic writing, unfortunately. But a decent attempt, 5.5. Still, it's upper intermediate, just about B2, so not too bad. A decent attempt. Okay, so I hope that video was useful for you. I'm still so busy doing so many speaking tests and so many writing checks, but if you want to get in touch with me, information is given below. I might not respond to you immediately, but I promise that I will try to get back to you in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days maybe. Yeah, but I'll leave it there for now. Thank you very much, and bye bye. Bye bye.